Canonicity Advisory. This video deals with speculation. Helldivers 2 is a live service game. The continuity is always developing, and contents discussed may be disproven or made redundant by the time you view this video. So, a lot has happened since we last discussed the Automatons. With the loss of the major order on December 4th, High Command released information that directly impacted and legitimized the theory that was proposed in part 1 of this video series, that automatons are synthetic and do not possess organic faculties. They are not cyborgs. What is particularly interesting is the third paragraph from the major order failure statement. But all is not lost. An impressive number of memory drives were recovered from the dismantled automatons. As soon as their contents have been uploaded to bot husks in safe possession, they will be ready for interrogation. This is all but guaranteed to yield results as soon as all 89,601,000 drives have been thoroughly interrogated. 89 million drives out of 150 million. This works for us, as we can assume many would have been lost in the thick of combat. So, 89 million drives is a lot, so much in fact that it forms the basis for which all bots are made. These memory drives are an essential part of an automaton's existence, and I feel with these sorts of numbers, I don't need to explain why I've come to this conclusion. Instead, I need to figure out what this means for the infinite loop, a topic touched on in my last video. The automatons' synthetic nature makes them remarkable vessels of computation data, potentially network consciousness. With this latest information, that truly brings the theory into question and the entire topic of their individual intelligence as a whole, as to whether that even exists. An answer we are still no closer to than before, despite having an automaton in our basement for interrogation. Truly a mystery for those of us that are free of thought. So instead, we will pick up where we left off. How to kill the automaton, and for that, I'd like to introduce you to the cobalt bomb, a topic we covered months ago now that proposed a cost-effective, deadly, but environmentally sustainable replacement to dark fluid to destroy Terminate hive worlds, a theory I still stand by. Also something many of you in my comments correctly assumed could be used against the automatons. For our demonstration, we are going to visit Jupiter and its moon Io, the most volcanically active world in the solar system. Every second, 1 ton of sulfur dioxide ejected from its surface is ionized and trapped in Jupiter's immense magnetic field, a topic you can learn about in our previous video attached here. Jupiter's magnetic field accelerates these ionized particles from Io's surface to 300 kilometers per second, with these particles crashing into other moons, creating more material to be ionized in Jupiter's magnetic field. This process creating unimaginably large radiation belts spanning past all the moons. So, why does all this matter? This is Pioneer 10, a spacecraft launched in 1972 with the intent to do a flyby of Jupiter and its moons to gather scientific data. Scientists were aware that Jupiter's magnetic field produced intense radiation that can potentially harm spacecraft. Before the Pioneer 10 mission, studies of Earth's Van Halen radiation belts provided insights into the dangers posed by radiation belts around other planets. Pioneer 10's instruments were specifically designed to measure Jupiter's radiation belts and magnetic field, which helped inform the design of subsequent missions like the Voyager and Galileo. The spacecraft's instruments were hardened to withstand the radiation, and it managed to send back crucial information about Jupiter's atmosphere, magnetic field, and moons. When Pioneer 10 encountered Jupiter's intense radiation, it faced much higher levels of radiation than anticipated. The radiation levels were about 10 times more powerful than what the spacecraft's designers had predicted. Despite this, Pioneer 10 managed to survive the encounter and continued to function, although some of its instruments experienced degradation due to intense radiation. Specifically, X-rays. X-rays are a fascinating and crucial part of the electromagnetic spectrum nestled between ultraviolet light and gamma radiation in terms of energy. X-rays are a form of electromagnetic radiation with wavelengths between 0.01 to 10 nanometers. These wavelengths are much shorter than visible light, allowing X-rays to penetrate various materials, including human tissue. This penetration ability arises from their high energy, which can ionize atoms and disrupt molecular bonds. X-rays are used in modern-day applications in low doses, but under exposure, X-rays will ionize living tissue, causing cell death and cancers. The reason these X-rays harmed Pioneer 10 and every spacecraft since was because of ionization and displacement damage to the lattice atoms of the important components such as semiconductors, transistors, capacitors, and many other much more fine machinery. But yet all of these crafts went on to serve dutifully beyond their expiration dates. But we are not here to talk about X-rays, we are here to talk about gamma rays. The wavelengths of gamma rays are even shorter than that of X-rays, 10 times smaller at 0.01 nanometers, capable of bypassing many materials, including those with copper, gold, steel, and other crystalline structures, such as those found in semiconductors, transistors, and other sensitive components in modern-day man-made technology. This is possible because of displacement damage, something I mentioned previously. Displacement damage occurs when high-energy particles like free neutrons collide with atoms in the material and displace them from their lattice. Lattice is unique in that it is one of the three forms an atom can take, lattice being distinct from individual atoms and molecules. Displacement damage can cause performance issues in devices with sensitive components and occurs regularly in our society unnoticed. Many factors come together to allow life on Earth, and these factors also serve to protect her technological development. Gamma radiation typically does not cause displacement damage on its own, but rather indirectly, ionizing the atoms in a lattice structure, creating high-energy particles, resulting in a phenomenon known as the cascade effect, where the secondary particles and electrons generated by the gamma ray can produce a cascade of collisions within the subjective material. While not being immediately effective, exposure over time will result in severe cumulative damage. So, the cobalt bomb won't be enough. It can be used to contaminate a planet with radioactive materials, plaguing the automatons to a slow and crippling degradation, but I feel like we can come in a bit harder. And for that, we're gonna redirect our attention to the neutron bomb. A neutron bomb, also known as an enhanced radiation weapon or ERW, is a type of nuclear weapon designed to maximize lethal neutron radiation while minimizing the physical blast and thermal damage. Unlike conventional nuclear weapons, a neutron bomb is designed to release a large amount of neutron radiation. The construction of the bomb ensures that the neutron radiation is not absorbed by the bomb casing, but instead released into the surrounding environment. This casing would consist of depleted uranium and X-ray mirrors to prevent the case from absorbing the free neutrons once nuclear fission is already underway. Free neutrons have a half-life of 10 minutes, after which this decay produces a proton, an electron, and an anti-neutrino, resulting to be harmless to the environment. For a neutron with the energy of 1 mega-electron volt, the wavelength is approximately 0.0287 femtometers. That's 0.000001 nanometers compared to the gamma rays relatively, but not to be underestimated, 0.001 nanometers, which is 10 times smaller than the X-rays wavelength of 0.01 to 10 nanometers. A particle so small and high in energy that no barrier or preventative measure can be placed between it and its victim in the case of the neutron bomb. Though intended for organic life, I believe both the neutron bomb and cobalt bomb together can be repurposed for use against the automatons and specifically Cyberstan. Welcome to Operation The Price of Arrogance. The automatons have overstayed their welcome, killed billions of loyal citizens, causing irreparable damage to Super Earth and her colonies. I believe no better punishment than to return Cyberstan to the abyssal hellhole that we should have made it in the First Galactic War. A combination between both the cobalt bomb and neutron bomb deployed from space, this orbital nuclear missile would deliver 3 devastating payloads to the surface of Cyberstan. At 40 kilometers, the first stage of the firecracker would detach on entry, detonating with a payload in the megatons, ionizing the cobalt on board, creating cobalt-60, which would emit potent gamma radiation, inducing the Compton effect, in essence an EMP, which will be followed by cobalt-60 radioactive fallouts. The second stage, already separated, would consist of a depleted uranium shell backed with cobalt storage vessels facing the direction of the first stage detonation and getting ionized by the emitted gamma radiation, emitting radioactive product on its descent through the atmosphere itself. And finally, mere hundreds of feet from the surface, the final stage begins, with the mixture of deuterium and tritium on board fusing under fission, detonating in spectacularly horrific fashion, sterilizing the vicinity for hundreds of kilometers and frying all the automatons, with those surviving facing a slow and certain deterioration. The playbook repeats what we would have done with the Terminids using the cobalt bomb, detonating a cobalt neutron bomb above every automaton super stronghold. Despite the 10-minute half-life of the neutron, it was always just the beginning, with the long-term responsibility belonging to the cobalt-60, leaching into the surface soil for hundreds of years, denying the automatons Cyberstan a message we need to send. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe, maybe turn on your notifier. This took an amazing amount of effort, more than any video before has, and I'd like to know whether I did a good job. With Helldivers 2 slowing down lately, especially as we're in the winter season, it's as good of a time as ever to consider joining a clan. You can find the link to the 1st Colonial Regiment in the description below. You've all been wonderful this year. Be safe this winter season, and I hope to see you in the next one.